All right, so this recording was made to help students understand how the learning targets affect their grade. So the first couple things that you guys should have, the students that is you should have your own learning target sheet with the learning targets written on them and a few columns for evidence and then a final learning target score. Now, there's conditions for your evidence, of course, and those are listed above right here for highly competent, competent in progress, and same thing down here. Now, your grading rubric is what is used, which is right here, to determine whether you've made a highly competent score on a piece of evidence, a competent score, or an in progress, or the fact that you have not even attempted the evidence for that particular learning target. Over here is the assessment grading rubric, which let me bring that all the way into the picture here. That again is determine whether you got highly competent, competent in progress, or not attempted on an assessment such as a quiz or a test. And this is based per learning target. Now, evidence can be used in multiple ways, and let's think about how we can use those ways. And I'm going to do a very concrete example for you so that you can understand what's involved with determining learning targets. So let's look at an example. So let's just say this is Miss Bingham, and this is her evidence, her first piece of evidence right here for learning target 1. And she is to complete this worksheet, problems 1 through 16 odds. Well, that should be 1 through 15 odds, but nonetheless. So if we go through this, look, she has done some work here, and it looks like she has answers for all the problems. That's good, and now the teacher needs to determine did she do it independently. All right, so she got a 3, which is highly competent. Why? Because it says she completed the worksheet independently and assisted or taught another student the material. That's how she got a highly competent. So if we look back at the at the grading rubric, it says right here for highly competent, everything in the competent section, and also that they were able to assist another student in learning or understanding the application of the learning target. Also, they were able to apply the learning target in multiple contexts. So in that form, right, it was from the multiple context part is the fact that the student is doing different types of problems. So it's not the same problem over and over again, and the problem gets more complicated as you go down. So that allows them to be in multiple contexts. So she earned a highly competent score on this worksheet, which is evidence 1 for learning target 1. So now Ms. Bingham's job, or the student's job, is to go back to their little learning target sheet here. And what they're going to do is, let me move this down a little bit. And now what they're going to do is put in their score for the learning target. Now this is learning target 1, so I can add and subtract polynomials. So she needs to go and circle on her learning target sheet that she got a 3. And the teacher needs to record that as well. So the teacher, so here's Ms. Bingham, here's learning target 1. Here's evidence 1 for learning target 1. She got a 3. So the teacher should be entering that in their grade book as well. Alright, so now here is the second piece of evidence. Now again, this is concrete, very concrete, okay? So you guys should be thinking about it in terms of you can use this, you can do evidence in multiple ways. It doesn't have to be through worksheets and quizzes and review every single time. So what you need to think about is that there are multiple ways to get evidence. All right, so say this is evidence number 2 for learning target 1, which is an exit slip for learning target 1. She has to complete 4 problems. So she did. She completed all 4 problems, but it says it's not completed independently. Independently means that you don't need the assistance from someone else to complete the problems. So she completed the work, but she needed assistance from the teacher or another student. So that means she got a 1. That means she's in progress. So on her second piece of evidence, she got a 1. So the student needs to record that on their learning target sheet that they got a 1. And the teacher needs to record that. And for evidence number 2, they got a 1. So that's the teacher's job, right? Now look at their average final score right now is a 2, so it has gone up a little bit. Okay, so now let's look at the next piece of evidence. So that was evidence number 2. This is evidence number 3, let's say. So third piece of evidence for learning target 1, and this is just a review worksheet for learning targets 1, 2, and 3. But right now we're only looking at learning target 1, so we'll look at the other ones later. So these are learning target 1 questions right here. There's 4 of them. And Miss Bingham here completed all 4 learning targets. And notice it's adding and subtracting polynomials, so it is learning target 1. And then also it says the student was able to complete all of the questions for learning target 1 independently. Therefore, she gets a 2 because she didn't show anybody else how to do it. She just did it herself, and so she got a 2. So she was competent. Again, if you look at the grading rubric, that's what it says. So you are able to complete the problem. So let's look at this for competent, able to demonstrate an understanding and application of the learning target independently and using the content vocabulary. All right, so she got a 2 on her third piece of evidence. So the teacher's going to need to record a 2 here. That's the third piece of evidence. And the student is going to need to record that they got a 2 on the third piece of evidence. Now let's say we get a quiz. Now it's time for a quiz. This will be the fourth piece of evidence that we're using for learning target 1. Again, Miss Bingham looks like, so this is just the questions for learning target 1 are 1 through 5, and then question 6 starts learning target 2. All right, so the first question, oh, she did a plus sign here when it should have been a minus. That's a minor error. This problem she got correct. This problem she got correct. She did a minor error right here. It should have been minus 6x. And the last problem she got correct. So all she did was get minor errors, so she gets a 2, competent. So again, the student needs to record that for their fourth piece of evidence. And the teacher needs to record it as well. And we're going to put a 2 right here for the fourth piece of evidence. So now her average final grade, now she gives that to the student. So the student is told that they have a 3, copy, paste. Whoops, wrong paste, delete. So the student was told that they have a 3 for their overall score for that learning target. So that grade gets entered into the Power Teacher gradebook. So now we're going to enter a 3 in here. All right. So now that keeps going and going. Notice you had to do a lot of work just to get in a grade for the learning target. We're going to need to end this video and start a new one because I have a 10-minute limitation. Actually, nope, it says I have a 15-minute limitation, so I'm going to keep going. All right, so now let's just say Ms. Bingham, on her second learning target, let's just say she scored an overall, and this is the grade that gets put in right here, guys. So this average grade right here, let me find a nice little pretty color for that. That's the grade that goes into the grade book. The average. None of these grades go in. These grades work towards getting your final grade, which is right here. Now, if you're doing a project, for example, can be used towards a piece of evidence. So you're going to get a double score for a project. So say on this project, Miss Bingham gets an 8. Excellent. Okay, so that's probably going to be close to what, a competent score, I would say. So they can use that as evidence as well. So you have to understand that evidence can be done in multiple ways. Homework, however, cannot be used for evidence because that's taken home and you're not doing it in front of the teacher. So the teacher can't see that. Participation, all that. Notice over here I have the breakdown, right? Learning target mastery is 70%, 10% is projects, 10% is midterm final exams, 5% homework, 5% participation. All right, so let's keep going. Say she gets 2 for her overall score on the next learning target. So let's just say she gets in progress all the way across. And you technically only have to hand in 3 pieces of evidence to get an average score over here. But when you do a 4th piece of evidence, that can only benefit you. It will never hurt you. So say you got a 0 on the 4th piece of evidence. That's not going to hurt you. So you can have up to 3 pieces of evidence and then an average score is given and that average score goes in the grade book. Alright, and let's say she was good and she got a 3 on her last learning target too. So those are decent, but her overall score could be higher than that. Alright, let's say she gets a 10 on her homework, a 10 out of 10, and she participates, but she's not like always participating, so I'm giving her 4s on those. And then let's just say maybe she doesn't do so well on a homework assignment, and then she does better on another homework assignment. Or let's just give her an 8. So she got a B here, a B here, 100 there, almost 100 in these particular categories. She didn't do so well on one homework assignment. Notice what her grade is, 69.7, right? That's an NC. As a matter of fact, all the students in this class have an NC. So what we need to do is think about how we can change this grade and how quickly this grade can change. So let's go about this. What I'm going to do is, let's say you redo this evidence and you get a highly competent on it. And then you redo this piece of evidence and you get a highly competent on that. Notice your average grade changes to a 4. So now in here I'm going to change it to a 4, not a 54, 4. And you are now passing the class. It's easy as that to change your grade. So that's the great thing about learning targets. If you improve on your learning targets, so let's say she improves on these learning targets because they're both in progress. So let's just say she gets a 2 here and a 2 here. Look, her overall grade changes to a 3. So this would change to a 3 as well. And now look at her grade. She has an 82%. So just changing it by a simple number can up your grade in a matter of seconds. Now, if you still have questions in regards to grading and learning target and how they affect your grade, please come see me. Thank you.